All right, folks, thank you for joining me today. It is December 28th, 2023. I'm going to share this one out real quick on X. Got myself a fresh cup of tea tonight, actually, and we're going to enjoy this session here. We got a lot to cover. Sharing this one out real quick, and then we're going to rock and roll. Just sent out the tweet, and let's get it. So, a lot to uncover here in today's live show. We're going to talk about how XRP will be hoarded by liquidity hubs and kind of just the control that we're seeing get set up here from the Wall Street boys and girls. For them, they're looking at the Bitcoin ETFs and all of the other ETFs that they're creating right now as a way for them to control the digital asset space. So we're going to be breaking that down after we go through our current events, update on all of the financial markets. We see Dow Jones back up to all-time high. S&P 500 is only, I think, about 0.3% away from a new all-time high. The S&P very, very close here. And so to finish off 2023, we've gotten a rally for everything. The narrative for crypto has been the ETF approvals coming up here in January. We will see about that. I do want to make a quick point, though. I do believe that this is going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Whether the ETFs get approved, delayed, or denied, they're all going to be a catalyst, I think, for the market to actually sell off. The other thing that I wanted to mention, too, as we're getting started here, is the fact that in prior years, when we had been down, many folks did tax loss harvesting, which for some folks, maybe they do have some positions that are at a loss, and they do want to do tax loss harvesting, where you basically sell this year to harvest that loss for your taxes, and then you just buy back in that position afterwards, after the New Year's or whenever you want to move back in. Now, this time, this is different, right? Because the stocks are up, crypto's up, a lot of people are in profit. So although I don't think that we're going to see a sell-off maybe, starting right now, we've been chopping sideways, but watch for this to be another catalyst for a sell-off at the beginning of this year. So I got two reasons. I got buy the rumor, sell the news on the ETFs. And then I also have basically folks are holding off taking profit right now until the new year. They don't want to add any more tax burden for 2023. So they're going to be placing their sell orders on some of their positions that they're in profit on. Think of coins like Quant. Think of Algorand that's gone up. Think of Solana, right? So, I'm not here to give anybody tax, legal, or financial advice. I'm just telling you what I see as potential catalysts for us to actually come down at the beginning of the new year. So while we're setting up our New Year's resolutions, putting our goals together, fresh start coming for us in 2024, you also might want to have a little bit of liquid cash on the sidelines here to scoop up any deals that we may be getting. So watch out for that. Without further ado, folks, let me know in the comments down below how you guys are doing here tonight. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. I know it's a late night session. I got my cup of tea here because last night some of the boys were in town, some of my buddies, and let's just say I was hanging with the boys last night, but I wasn't hanging out this morning and today, so can't put them back like I used to. So that's why I got my tea, I got my glass of water, and we're going to have some fun here today. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Cheers. Let's take a look at it. So we're starting off here with our current events, and then we'll go into the financial markets and cryptocurrency to finish off. Top of the news here today would be Maine being the second state to bar Trump from the 2024 presidential primary ballot. So this is after we got the same deal in Colorado was the first. Now we have Maine. Secretary of State ruled that Donald Trump cannot run in the state's Republican primary, citing his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. Now, most certainly will face court challenges, absolutely. And we're seeing that this is from Shenna Bellows, Maine's top election official and a Democrat, made her decision after receiving 3 challenges from voters and citing Trump's conduct culminating in the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. So for those reasons, she's decided to remove Trump from the primary ballot for 2024. Now, she did say, quote, "I do not reach this conclusion lightly. Democracy is sacred." They just want to protect democracy, don't they? They always throw that up. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this. Citing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, also cited the 22nd Amendment. It kind of an interesting ruling here when you look into it a little bit deeper. But the response from the Trump campaign was, quote, "We are witnessing in real time the attempted theft of an election and the disenfranchisement of the American voter," the campaign said in a statement Thursday night, shortly after Bellows released her ruling. "This decision just makes this epic constitutional showdown even more so than it was yesterday," says Michael Waldman, the president of the Brennan Center for Justice at the New York University School of Law. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this situation. We have multiple other states that are considering doing the same thing. And it all plays into our thesis of chaos continuing and ramping up into the 2024 year here. Within 1 year of an election, it's going to be exciting. There's going to be some fireworks. And we're having true, somewhat, you could probably say that it is a constitutional crisis that we now are experiencing with the attacks and the stretching and the bending of the laws and outright just breaking the law in some places. But they have no shame and they are just going full force with their agenda. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of that. Now let's continue on here. We got a lot to cover. Biden is sending another aid package to Ukraine, a $250 million shipment, including arms and ammunition. We have sent over $150 billion to Ukraine at this point. Now, Wall Street Silver adds that they are too invested to admit that they already lost and Russia won. And when you listen into their response, it is pretty weak from the White House. Listen in here on this new aid package and kind of their stance on this war.
The Biden administration is sending another aid package to Ukraine. A $250 million shipment includes arms, equipment, air defense munitions, and more than 15 million rounds of ammunition. But an anonymous source within the Biden administration tells Politico the White House wants an off-ramp. Quote, "That's been our theory of the case throughout. The only way this war ends ultimately is through negotiation. We want them to be in a stronger position to hold their territory. It's not that we're discouraging them from launching any new offense."
Here's the thing, guys. By the way, don't worry about Fox News. That's just where the clip was pulled from. Focus on that statement right there. We want them to be able to defend their positions. And we're not going to stop them from launching a new offensive. That's pretty weak, given the fact that Russia's already taken over some regions. And so now to take the stance of, well, we just want you to be able to defend what you got left. We want you to be able to defend what you got left of your war-torn country, and we, aren't really concerned. Maybe I'm reading between the lines, and I shouldn't be doing that. But to me, it seems like, well, we've already given up territory, and so now you're to say that we're just going to stand back and hope that we can defend what we got left. Quite a position there from the White House. But nonetheless, I've just been saying that we're broke. Another, what is this, 150 million? No, sorry, 250 million, and it's 150 billion total that we've now sent to Ukraine. And so we got Ukraine, we have Israel, Gaza, we have Venezuela, we have Taiwan, we have multiple battlefronts. We are broke. Our interest on our debt payments is now exceeding our defense budget. This is an inflection point for the United States empire. While we're removing candidates off of our ballots here in the United States, getting ready for our election, and the internal chaos that they're they're setting free within our country. You know what I'm talking about? They're letting it go. Internal chaos, external chaos, and we've extended ourselves. So my position has just remained the same. It doesn't matter what war you want to fund overseas or what program you want to fund here back at home. We're broke. So show me where the money's coming from and show me how we can fix our balance sheet. Now, the problem is that we're already seeing the rest of the world, including our allies, not just move away from the dollar for trade. We're actually getting left on the battlefield. I highlighted this in my most recent live, talking about how France has left the alliance that we just formed in the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. We had formed an alliance with about 10 countries to make sure that safe passage for ships would continue. Well, we had Spain, we had France, and a couple others back out after saying that they were committed to helping us out. Now they're backing out. And this is just time and time again here. We have our allies ditching us on the battlefield, and then they've also been ditching the US dollar for trade and for settlement. And we just saw a couple new deals got released this week, and it's now totaling here a fifth of global oil trade this year was settled in currencies different from the US dollar. So the petrodollar is being left behind. A slow-moving train is coming. Now, we're seeing that the BRICS alliance here, we have 6 new countries that can join BRICS come January 1st. We have a lineup of countries outside of that want to get into BRICS. But then I just take it to, you have countries like France, our allies, supposed to be our friends, that are leaving us hanging on the battlefield, and they are dropping our dollar. So it's not just BRICS. It's not just the 5 countries within BRICS. They've actually grown by 6. They have dozens more that want to get in. But then you have dozens upon dozens of other countries that are just saying, we're done with the US dollar. Like, we're done. We're through. And they're doing trade in their own native currencies. And we bring the story back home here, and we look at the banking crisis, the debt, currency, and liquidity crisis continues to go on. The U.S. banks now in the United States have a combined $684 billion of unrealized losses. And Gold Telegraph asks, do you wonder why the Federal Reserve hints at numerous rate cuts next year as inflation remains above its target? Don't look far. Suggesting that the Federal Reserve is going to come in to save the day on the banks, I would retort back and say, this, I think, is the plan all along, was to squeeze out and kill off the small and the regional banks and to allow the big boys like JP Morgan, which just had a record year, to be able to eat up all of the competition and buy these banks for pennies on the dollar. So to me, this has been the plan all along. Now, is the Federal Reserve going to lighten up next year? Probably are going to have to. And I believe that we're coming up on March is when the Bank Term Funding Program ends, the BTFP, which is just another liquidity program that they set up to backstop all of the banks back in March. That program runs out in March of 2024. And then when you look at all of the other data points, Americans and their excess savings are set to run out of excess savings completely by about March or April. So we have all of this converging right now for what's going to make Q1 of 2024 a very interesting year. Now, multiple black swan scenarios can be the catalyst. It could just be an ongoing banking crisis. That's definitely in the cards. $684 billion of unrealized losses. But the Fed is going to have to lighten up because even themselves, they are losing a record amount as well. EJ Antonio says this isn't a meme stock, some third world country's currency, or the balance sheet of a failed regional bank. It's the losses at the Fed, and it just exceeded $130 billion. So this is the losses that the Fed currently has. Okay. And folks, this is why they have to lighten up. This is why they have to come in. They're going to have to come in with a bigger response than they had to last year. And it might even be a bigger response than what they did in 2020, or approach that level. And this is why I think that we get a V-shaped recovery next year, no matter what black swan takes place. Hopefully we can survive it. And then I think that the Fed comes in, they cut rates, they turn back on the money printer, and they have to ease once again to save the day, especially because we're going through that election cycle as well. And what matters most in politics? Well, it's the economy, stupid, right? So that is my prediction for 2024. Right now, we're watching as the U.S. jobless claims rise for the second straight week. So requests for state unemployment insurance was up 12,000 to 218,000. This did beat expectations, which were only at 215,000. So we did exceed expectations. And last week, claims rose a revised 3,000 to 206,000. That compared with the initial estimate of a rise of 2,000 to 205,000. So they keep on going back and revising these things higher than what's being reported. So they'll probably come back and they'll revise this and say, oh yeah, it actually wasn't 12,000 jobless claims. It was actually 15,000. So it was way worse than expectations. And the number of people already collecting jobless benefits in the week ending December 16th rose by 14,000 to 1.875 million people. So we have nearly 2 million people collecting jobless benefits here in the United States. Now, 16 states did see falling claims in the past week, led by a sharp drop in Texas. Okay. Now, I wanted to make a point here. At the end of these articles, Market Watch, they always put this, the big picture. Now, what the big picture means from Market Watch is let us put our spin on this. Let us, ease this thing over. Let us smooth this thing over. That's what the big picture is on Market Watch in all of their articles. And I'm going to show you guys another one when it comes to pending home sales here next. But the spin that they want to put on this. The labor market has been a bright spot for the economy. Hold up, let's cut them off right there. That's not a big picture. That's a big freaking joke is what that is. Folks getting a second and third job just to get by is not a strong economy. It's squeezing out the middle class and poor, and it's a fight for survival. Survival of the fittest is what our economy is going through right now. It is not a bright spot on the economy. It's a bright spot for talking head pundits who are flapping their lips on CNBC and trying to act like everything's okay because the stock market's going up. The disconnect from the suits on CNBC and Powell and the Federal Reserve and what's happening on Wall Street and what's happening on Main Street is so clear. It's so clear. They literally are touting our unemployment, these jobless claims, all this as strength in our economy, when it is the complete opposite. When you look, the devil is in the details. Folks getting a second and third job just to make ends meet. That is not a bright spot on the economy. Now, let's continue on here. Let's look at the pending home sales here in the United States. Pending home sales are flat in November despite drop in mortgage rates. Now, I do love this. They say realtors see a surge in interest that could boost sales in the coming months. Yeah, of course they do. They always see something. They always see the light at the end of the tunnel, don't they? Pending home sales were flat in November compared with the previous month, according to the monthly index released by the National Association of Realtors. So despite rates dropping, right, we still have flatlined for pending home sales. And as I've been saying, right, the real estate market here is definitely under a reset. And we have to understand how it's going to impact our market, where we're living or where we're going to be investing. Economists were expecting the index to rise 1% in November, and that did not happen. Year on year, pending home sales are down 5.2%. Now, we got some details here. Sales were up in the Northeast, Midwest, and the West in November, but dropped in the South. So it's primarily the South that brought this whole thing down. Now, they say with the big picture here, pending home sales tend to lead existing home sales by a month or two. They have been on a downward trend this year. So they actually do shed a little bit of light on the trend that is not your friend if you are, in particular, in the real estate industry. For me, I see an opportunity for us as investors, for us as, trying to become first-time home buyers, even for us as renters, to go negotiate your rent, go negotiate, they're offering free, 1 month free. They're offering 2 months free in some markets to get you into these new rentals. And so this is why a lot of folks are choosing to go live in the townhome, go live in the new apartment, because they can go live in a big complex that has a pool, that has a gym, that has everything, and it's brand spanking new, versus go buy a fixer-upper boom or fart box down the road that needs $50,000 in renovations. And so for me, I get it. As someone who is currently renting right now, I'm proud to be a renter right now. I am still building wealth as a renter. It's not stopping me from building wealth. And so this whole idea, the American dream, white picket fence, has definitely changed. And I am one of those folks that is, owning nothing and being happy. Well, I do own assets. I definitely do. And I'm going to buy a boatload more of assets. It's just I'm going to do it when the circumstances and when the deal is right. And so for all of us, I would just say, don't give up faith, because as someone who's been watching the market and waiting, and you're waiting on the sidelines and you're wondering, man, am I ever going to get an opportunity? We might not see a huge crash like we saw during the Great Financial Crisis just because of the lack of supply, but we are seeing corrections and we are seeing some things starting to ease up a little bit. And so I think that 2024 is going to be a good year for those of us who are ready to swoop deals. I think that we're going to see some positive action coming this year with a lot more listings coming online this spring. We'll obviously tick up the spring selling season is always a hot moment for real estate. But after that, as we look towards the end of 2024, I think it's going to be a good time to swoop some deals. And so we're looking right now. I've actively been looking every single day in my market, and it's coming. It's coming in a major way. In fact, it's already here, I should say, in multiple markets. Now, let's transition into crypto, guys. Thank you for joining me here today. Let's talk some crypto. Now, this is one of the many reasons why we talk so much about getting your assets off of these exchanges. These exchanges are not your friend. You're here to conduct a business deal, shake their hand, and get your money out of there and run like a thief in the night before they run like a thief in the night with your money, just like they did with FTX. Now it's coming out that the FTX customer repayment plan is going to be valuing Bitcoin at 16,000, ETH at 1.2 thousand, and Solana at $16. So basically, if you recall last year in November, when FTX went bust and the whole thing went, imploded, that was what took Bitcoin down to 15,500. That was what took Ethereum back below 1,000, I think, for a brief moment of time. And then Solana went down to about $9 in December. And so now we've been talking, actually, when I talked about Solana and how Solana's done like a 12x this year, right? How perfect it was for all of the insiders from FTX that were so heavily invested in Solana. Solana being one of the biggest VC pump and dumps in this entire space. And so once again, we're going through the FTX bankruptcy process, and it just so happens to coincide with a massive Solana pump, up to over $120 for Solana. And they sold off $1 billion worth of Solana. Guys, I'm not just talking about this so that I can, make a joke and crap on FTX and Solana. No. They dumped billions of dollars worth of these tokens here recently on the pump. Solana being the primary one, they dumped Bitcoin. They did. I think that Ripple does have a claim at some of that XRP, actually. I don't know if some of it was lent to them or what the deal was with that. But primarily Solana was the big one. And they sold $68 and at $73, cashing out billions of dollars worth of Solana. But are they going to return that back to the investors? Oh, God, no. God, no. You're going to get $16 for your Solana. You're going to get 16,000 for your Bitcoin. And you're going to get 1.2 thousand for your Ethereum. That would have been when XRP, what did XRP go down to in December? It wasn't the lows, but I think it was down to like 40 cents, 50 cents. So you're probably gonna, only going to be getting 40, 50 cents for your XRP from them if you had any XRP on FTX. So once again, to reiterate the point, if you need cold storage wallets, we have a couple wallets listed at my website, zachrector.com, and you can save 10% right now when you use the discount code WEALTH. That's WEALTH, all caps. Use that discount code for EliPal, and you can save 10%. And Trezor, our other affiliate, they just did a permanent price drop on almost all of their wallets. So if you need a cold storage solution to get your XRP, to get your XDC, XLM, some of our favorite coins, it's all listed at my website along with all of our other community resources as well. But do not trust these exchanges. And speaking of getting your assets, as I was starting off this episode talking about the ETFs and how they want to use them to control this whole space, our good friend Chad, he put together a little thread here on why they don't want to take Bitcoin down to zero. They just want to control it. And so I thought this was very interesting. I want to talk about this. Now, I was considering putting 20,000 XRP will be a reality in the title, but I've offended too many people here lately with our title. So I thought, maybe I'll hold up on that one before we trigger everybody. And I actually retweeted Chad here tonight, and I said, Chad, you're going to have all the Twitter thought police are going to be absolutely triggered. They're going to be calling for you to be banned, call for him to be shut down, take away his free speech. How dare you think or suggest that $20,000 XRP will be a reality? I just get a kick out of that. But I did hold off on putting that in the title. But as I did title it here tonight, XRP will be hoarded by liquidity hubs for utility. We'll talk about that here in a second. But first, He says you don't destroy Bitcoin by sending it to zero. You destroy Bitcoin by hoarding it all under the control of the largest asset managers in the world, i.e. ETFs. The public will not own it, use it, or hold it, but they will buy the ETF. Checkmate. And this is what I'm so worried about for this space is, so many folks are new, and you have a lot of folks that, aren't going to take the time to learn how to set up a wallet, how to actually go on these exchanges and buy the assets. It's going to be a lot easier. I mean, shoot, half of America doesn't even know what's in their 401k. But the other half that's saying, okay, let's get some exposure to crypto, they're just going to call up their money manager and they're going to be happy to just roll that money on into an ETF instead of actually holding the underlying asset so that you don't have any counterparty risk. When everybody asks, what are you investing in right now, Zach? It's very, very simple. I am investing in utility with no counterparty risk. Silver in my safe has no counterparty risk, and the silver has massive utility. My cash has utility and it has no counterparty risk. My XRP has utility and it's about to get a whole heck of a lot more utility, and it has no counterparty risk because I have it off exchanges. Same exact thing here, but you already know the deal. So many folks are going to be basically forced to go into this because of the 401k scheme, which, to the extent that the 401k collapse, kind of goes on, we'll see. I don't think that it goes away. I don't think that they completely destroy it, but you are seeing a lot more people that want to be in self-directed IRAs, that want to have a little bit more control. And as I've been saying, even if you got a 401k with a money manager, you need to be on the phone with that guy. You need to go see him in person, on the phone, speaking, talking, and they need to be explaining why they got you in the positions that you're in. And hopefully you can give them a little pushback too. And if they have no clue about digital assets, you might have to be the one educating your financial advisor on digital assets. They're still getting caught up to speed, unlike us that have been in this space for years, right? By the way, I just got pre-approved again for a house, and they don't accept cryptocurrency as any sort of collateral or any sort of assets. They don't respect it at all. I asked him. He said, "Do you have any other liquid assets?" I said, "Well, I got a boatload of crypto, but do you guys respect that?" No, they still don't. But that's coming to an end here soon. Eventually you will be able to. I know there are platforms where you can get a loan for your XRP, you can get a loan for your Bitcoin. Eventually, the institution, like the one that I was talking to, and like it's a bank that you would know of, and these other banks, eventually I believe that you're going to be able to take your XRP to them and say, okay, here's 5,000 XRP that I want to put down as collateral for a loan for my business, for my real estate, whatever deal you want to do. But in the meantime, we have to sit with our worthless bags of cryptocurrencies that are not respected by the bankers at all, even though the bank that I just got pre-approved from is a partner with Ripple and stated that they can't wait to use XRP until after this lawsuit where they can use XRP for a competitive advantage, but they won't respect it as collateral. Isn't that funny? Now, this is where Chad chimes in with XRP. He says, maybe now you start to see the brilliance in the design of a 100 billion supply of XRP, because the same will happen as it's hoarded by investors. It'll be hoarded by liquidity hubs for utility. It'll be used by the public. $20,000 XRP will be a reality. Now, don't shoot the messenger. Please do not shoot the messenger. Just because I read off that statement is not an endorsement of a $20,000 XRP. I don't want to see this clipped up and put on Twitter tomorrow saying that I called for a $20,000 XRP. I specifically didn't put it in the title for that reason, even though I know I probably would have got twice as many clicks and views if I would have put 20,000 XRP will be a reality in the title. That's a dang good title. And I'm sure there's going to be some guys that'll roll with that in their videos tomorrow morning. God bless them. I'm not here to stop that party or stop anybody from having those thoughts. I've always wanted to talk about the potential of XRP, and for me, I've always talked about a supply shock incoming. So just like Chad's talking about, it's the same thing here. We are already seeing exchange-traded products, which is the same thing as an ETF, are already live in Europe. And so there's going to be ETFs for XRP here back in the United States, and I think that a lot of people are going to be priced out too. So we talk about it through regulations, through custody. I mean, if Elizabeth Warren got her way, we wouldn't even be able to custody these assets. We wouldn't even be able to have them. And she would basically just kill all crypto besides CBDC if she got her way. But even through just, XRP going to, a $10 price really puts it out of reach for anybody to get a significant bag that's going to help them, make significant gains or wealth. Just going to a $10 price prices out a lot of people. And I'm talking about pricing out a lot of the planet. See, for you, you're thinking, there's a 10 XRP minimum for a wallet. So when XRP goes to $10, it's going to cost you $100 just to open up an XRP wallet, which, for a lot of us, I mean, hopefully we have $100, right? For many people across the planet, they do not. They do not. Many people across the planet couldn't even afford an XRP wallet right now because they don't have an extra $5 or whatever it would take, right? So you have to understand that, and you have to understand that what they want to do, what Wall Street's doing right now, what the regulators are doing, obviously in cohorts, we've uncovered all that, is they want to not just kill this space, they want to control it, right? Now they know the tokens that end up making it through this is not going to be 50,000 ERC20 crap coins. They know that will kill itself off. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But Ethereum, that was given the free pass and that was allowed to create the token factory, well, that's what they've invested in. That's what they've allowed to run up. And that's exactly why they allowed the token factory to get created. And I got some more content on that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tomorrow. I got a video that I'm going to be dropping tomorrow titled Exposing the XRP PSYOP. And I'm going to be talking about the whole PSYOP that's been ran against the XRP community. But for me, I've long talked about this supply shock incoming because I do believe that the liquidity hubs will lock it up. And the liquidity hubs is going to be banks and institutions locking up utility or locking up XRP for its utility. Right now, the main utility for XRP is just cross-border payments. But now we have NFTs. We're going to get the AMM. And you have to understand that for the AMMs, for them to work, right, you're going to be delegating XRP to these liquidity pools. And then, there's going to be XRP that's kind of locked up in these liquidity pools. And, that's something that we want to do with our XRP. That's something that you're not going to be able to do, though, if you invest in an ETF. So when we started having this whole conversations about the ETF, I said right from the get-go that I'm not going to tell my grandma to go buy an XRP ETF. I'm going to go help her set up a wallet, set up an exchange, and help her go secure the underlying asset. I don't do ETFs. I don't do ETFs for gold, for silver, for cryptocurrencies. I'm not going to do any of that. I want utility with no counterparty risk, and I want to be able to control it. Now, what you're seeing right here is this narrative that has taken us up to 45,000 nearly for Bitcoin. It's taken, Ethereum back up to 2,300. XRP's gone up to about 75 cents during the run up over the last couple months, ever since that they said that the ETFs were going to get approved. And for me, as I've been saying, watch out for this to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, and don't let them fool you once again. They do this time and time again with the BlackRocks and what they do with the pumping up these narratives. And this is the same thing that's playing out right now. So watch out for that. Now, I did want to share an opinion here from Jeff Seckinger. One final point, though, on that. For folks that say there's 100 billion tokens, how could there ever be a supply shock? Institutions like R3 tried to scoop 5 billion in 2016. I've said this a million times. It makes, I'm tired of saying it, but it has to be repeated because folks forget that one institution tried to get 5% of the entire supply in one deal. Now, they ended up settling for 1 billion XRP. So even that alone, R3 sitting on 1% of the supply, that's just one institution, let alone all of us that are holding our XRP. And I'll tell you right now, my XRP is not available for liquidity. Once the AMMs do go live, yes, I will start to put some into them. I'm not going to put 100% of my XRP into the liquidity pools. So to build out that liquidity, you're going to need XRP. And to move large amounts of liquidity, you're going to need that XRP to be at a much higher price, or you need a lot of XRP. But the problem is that there's only so much XRP. So I've talked about this in scenarios where, is Swift going to start using XRP? Well, Swift does messaging, and so, people want to get lost on the technical nuance of that. If you want to talk about the 11,000 banks that make up Swift, and let's just say that 10% of them start using XRP for settlements, right? You have a very, very large amount of volume and liquidity that's would be flowing through that. You would need a lot of XRP, or you would need XRP to be at a much higher price. And as the two, it's kind of that flywheel effect that gets going, where the more XRP that's held as a store of value, the higher the price goes and the more the demand goes up. And then as we get additional utilities, as folks can actually start to do DeFi with their XRP, they can do NFTs, they can do liquidity pools, cross-chain bridge, EVM sidechain. You see where there's demand for the utility, but then there's also going to be demand for store of value. And this is where the price, I believe, is set to explode for XRP here in 2024 into 2025. But then as we just look out a trajectory over the next decade, it's going to be pretty incredible to see just how high this thing can go, because I think that what most folks are underestimating is the supply shock incoming from how many people are going to hold this asset as a store of value, myself included. I'm planning on holding most of my XRP forever. So 80 to 90% of my bag right now, I hold as a store of value, and it will never be sold. It will be leveraged. It will be collateralized. I will collateralize it to go buy property. I will collateralize it to go buy a business. I will do that, but it's going to be my asset. It's going to be, with my name on it, or in the trust that I put it in, right? That's my plan for XRP. And that hasn't changed in the 5 years that I've held it. Now, looking ahead, we got an opinion here from Jeff Seckinger. He says, if history repeats itself, the true alt season would begin April of 2025. That does not mean the alts won't rally before then. And that's a critical piece right there. You have to understand, when you go back and you look at the previous bull run, 2020 through 2021, we started to see alts go. But then we really saw that Bitcoin dominance fall off in 2021. And that was the conclusion of the bull run, and the alts went absolutely nuts. So just because the true alt season won't begin, maybe not until April 2025, right, is what he's saying, doesn't mean that alts aren't going to go. I mean, look at the alts already going right now. We have Solana that just did a 12x in, the last year. He says it just means the money flowing into Bitcoin versus alts are likely to seesaw for the next 16 months. Then alts will begin dramatically outperforming Bitcoin 1 year after the halving cycle. You can go look at the Bitcoin dominance right now, and it has been growing steadily. Look, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and you can see all through 2023, it's growing back up here from the lows, the lows of about, 37 to 40% dominance, all the way up here to 50 to 55% Bitcoin dominance. And this is the market cap of Bitcoin dominance. But he's showing us this box right here, which was the end of the bear market, right? 2019 into 2020. And then in 2021, that is when the true alt season started, when the Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance in 2021 topped out here at 75%. That's truly incredible, right? And then later, after that, that's when it flooded into all the alts. And that's where so many people made all these gains on all these alts. And I expect another alt season coming up as well. But if we look at this, if this does extend, this kind of runs with my thesis of the bull run begins. Some would argue that it's already begun. That's fine. Doesn't mean that we're not going to still have a major correction or a major pullback, as I've highlighted. Black swan scenarios and the such, banking, debt, currency, liquidity crisis, still all going. Doesn't mean that we can't have a pullback, just like we did in March of 2020. Bitcoin went up 340% during 2019 before we got hit with the March 2020 simulation events, and it took Bitcoin down 70%, 60% in 1 month, 70% off the top. So that's in the cards again here for 2024. That's why I haven't gotten, like, I'm not on the edge of my seat excited about the 170% that Bitcoin did this year. Although it's great, although it's fun, I love to see alts go, and I definitely respect the pump, I'm still remaining cautious. But this would kind of be in line with my thesis that, the bull run begins here in 2024, or it's already begun, but that it continues out till late 2024 into 2025. That's going to be very interesting to watch. Okay. But for me and for all of our community members, we need to understand where we're going to be taking profits at on these different positions that we hold, because when you do see these alt pop, it's going to happen quick, right? I expect XRP to rip to $10 maybe, and then come back down. I expect XLM to rip up to $1, $2, and then come back down. XDC going to do something incredible too. You name your favorite altcoin, it will pop this alt season, and you need to know, and you need to be able to execute without emotion, without getting caught up in the mania, without getting caught up with the clickbait faces and all the craziness that's going to be going on at that time. You need to say, oh no, I was going to sell 10% of my XRP at $10 and hit that sell button and pray and hope that your order actually goes through and that the exchanges aren't down. So that would be my last comment that I would make on that, is just make sure that you have your exit strategy ready to go as we enter this next bull run. And just because the real alt season might not technically begin till late 2024 or into 2025 doesn't mean that alts won't start to go on their own during 2024. And in fact, during 2020, I remember XRP pumping upwards of $1, and that was right before the lawsuit got dropped on us. And so, just because the true alt season might not come in till 2024 or even 2025 doesn't mean that you still shouldn't be ready. I wouldn't be completely on the sidelines. As I've been saying, I've been stacking cash on the sidelines for most of this year. I've just been building up my cash reserves. But I'm building that up while I'm still holding my bags of all these altcoins, of all my fundamental positions that I firmly believe in. And I'm going to make one more point before I move on. We're going to go into the market update here, and we're going to look at the charts, and we're going to look at where everything's been trading at. But I want to make one final point. When I put out my video about Solana, I just poked a few holes in the thesis. I just asked a few questions. The other day, I asked a question to the Proton community. Maybe some of you guys know of the Proton community. Very adamant, strong, passionate community with their little Proton project. They were all sharing how that they were on the FedNow services. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fantastic. Let me show you. I'll pull up the tweet that I actually shared so you get the context that I'm talking about. The point that I want to make is that if somebody's able to ask you questions or not able to ask you questions, and they're able to poke holes in your investment thesis that you can't fill up, that you can't respond with facts, with evidence, with documentation, then that's not on the person that's asking the questions. That's not on the person that's poking holes in your thesis. Don't come at me. You need to revisit your investment thesis. Anybody can try to poke holes in my XRP investment thesis, and I can plug every single last one of those, poke a hole in my argument. I can plug every single one of those. I have facts, documents, evidence for every single argument that you can make against XRP. And I feel very firmly in my thesis. Now, when I brought this up to the Proton guys, it was the exact opposite. All of them in the comments just telling me, cope. Tell me to cope. I'm like, I asked the question. Who's coping here? What do I need to cope on? A coin that's down 95%? Who's actually doing the coping? I don't need to cope. I'm asking a question about your project. And I was trying to be very polite and respectful. So I put this out because you got one of these guys, saying, they say that there's no partnerships for Proton and Metal. And they're sharing this. And this got shared by all the Proton community members over the last couple days. The FedNow Service Provider Showcase. And Metallicus is listed. Now, I did go verify this. I did go to the website. They are listed. But then I found an interesting disclaimer at the bottom of the link where it basically says that, that just because you're in the showcase, it doesn't mean anything. They say, quote, the Federal Reserve Financial Services is solely a host for the information presented in this service provider showcase, and the inclusion or exclusion of a service provider should in no way imply any relationship with or recommendation or endorsement by the Federal Reserve. Showcase presenters are not utilized by the Federal Reserve for the production or delivery of the FedNow service. Wait, hold up. Wait, hold up. Showcase presenters are not utilized by the Federal Reserve for the production or delivery of the FedNow services. So what are we doing? Are we doing a little showcase, a little slideshow presentation? Hey, we got a little tech over here. Thanks for allowing us to buy our way into being in your showcase. I mean, this is worthless. I mean, okay, you got in the room. You had a conversation. You were able to present your slideshow. Congratulations. Do we need to clap for you? And I'm trying to be respectful. I'm not trying to clown or bash. I'm trying to be respectful. The Federal Reserve, the FRFS, showcase here, takes no responsibility for the content or accuracy of the information presented. Users of the showcase should perform their own due diligence on service providers. And I commented, I said, not trying to be a hater. Seriously, I'm not. Just trying to understand what this partnership actually entails. And the comments are just full of cope, go mow a lawn, bro, all this crap. I'm like, okay, if you guys can't answer a question, how strong is your investment thesis? And for the entire time that I've been in this crypto space, I've been asking this question about partnerships from the very beginning, because I can cite real partnerships with Ripple where they're not just partnered up with Ripple, they're using XRP. That's a real partnership with adoption of the currency, of the actual token. Now, you can go through all these other projects and you can see that, yeah, they've got a partnership. They're friends. They presented at their conference. They're buddies. That's great. Are they using the token? No. And I'm not going to name all the other tokens, but some of the most, talked about, some of the most favorite tokens in the space. I go to look for real partnerships, real adoption. Who's actually using this? Wow, you have an incredible governing council. Who's using the token? Nobody. This is the problem. Constellation DEG was another one. They were citing that they were partnered up with the Department of Defense. They were consulting the Department of Defense. They were not using the DEG token. That's just another example. I even talked about this with Stellar. Stellar was consulting the Central Bank of Ukraine. Ukraine was not using XLM, the token. Now, they have started, I think, to do aid over in Ukraine, and that has changed. But I remember bringing up this argument a couple years ago, and I hold XLM. And I've brought this up with Ripple too, and XRP. I'm like, yes, okay, we're consulting with central banks. Are these central banks using XRP? Well, now we know that they are using the private ledger that Ripple created for the central banks. Now we know that Palau did, in fact, put their one-to-one US dollar backed stablecoin on the mainnet XRP. Excuse me. They put it on the mainnet XRPL. That's actual adoption. That's a real partnership. That's something that you can actually grasp and hold on to. Not, oh, yeah, our CEO went and did a photo booth op, a photo op with them, and that's the partnership. That's not a real partnership. You consulted. You did a slideshow presentation on DLT. That's not a partnership. Show me where the rubber meets the road. And with Ripple and XRP, I can show you where the rubber meets the road. I can show you where the train has left the station. And if these guys can't handle, if you can't have anybody, ask you a question, and someone who tries to poke some holes in your argument, if you can't fill them back up, well, then you got to go back to your research. You got to go back to the drawing board, and maybe you need to change your investment thesis. Don't shoot the messenger. Now, with that being said, let's get on into the market update. We see here, as I reported, the S&P 500, and we got Stuart in the house with a super chat. My good friend Stuart, where's it at? There it is. 50 spot Aussie funny money from Stuart. Much love, brother. Ignore all FUD. You're on the right track. It's too easy. Haters gonna hate Zach. They'll find out the hard way, unfortunately. Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. You know, I love when the haters call me a little lawn boy. I'm like, okay, I mean, sure, call me a little lawn boy. Okay, I have a company that employs plenty of people. Our company feeds families, right? It's a real company. I don't mow yards anymore. I haven't for years. So I'm not the little lawn boy anymore. Okay, we have a real company. I mean, some of the lawns that we install can be 20 or 30,000. So, you know, some of our contracts can be 6 figures. Call me little lawn boy all you want. Okay, it's called a real business with real employees, real customers, and call me a little lawn boy. If you want to discount that all you want, go ahead. The constant feedback that I hear from other people is they say, I always thought that you had a financial background. Because, you know, you're just so well versed in your presentation and everything. I thought that you had a financial background. I'm like, well, you know, I don't have a formal financial background, but I've been pounding streets to make money in a self-employed business, which is an education in its own right. Absolutely. And that's, you know, that along with all my research and all the work that I've been putting in for a decade is what has got me to this point. So I love it. I love they try to come at me. They try to poke holes in me. They try to poke holes in our XRP. And as I said, tomorrow I'm going to be covering it. I'm going to be exposing the XRP PSYOP that they've been running against us. And we're going to go through all the points, all the different arguments that they've been trying to make, all the different things that they've done to confuse people. And that's what breaks my heart is that, you know, it's just good common folks that are coming into the crypto space and they get entrapped in the Bitcoin bros. You know, they get caught up in trying to trade all these different, you know, altcoins, all these different Ethereum tokens, and they miss legitimate projects with solid fundamentals. Whether you think the XRP is going to 10,000, that's fine. You don't have to think the XRP is going to 10,000, but it's a solid project with fundamentals, and you know, you can actually make a case for why the coin can go up. For 99% of the space, the only case that you can be making for the coin going up is it getting pumped and dumped on you. Now let's continue on here into the financial markets and the update. Let's get it going. As I stated here, we have the S&P 500 just shy of a new record high. So you have the Dow Jones, you have the NASDAQ, and you have the S&P 500. Dow Jones is back at an all-time high, and NASDAQ is right there as well. Stocks inched higher Thursday, putting the S&P 500 on pace for its longest weekly winning streak in nearly 20 years. The broad index gained 0.4, the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite fell 0.03, while the Dow Jones rose 0.1 or 54 points. Markets are ending 2023 on a hot streak. All 3 indexes are on pace for a 9th consecutive weekly gain. For the S&P 500, that would mark the longest streak since January of 2004. The index is now within 0.3% of its all-time high set in January of 2022. With one trading session remaining in 2023, the S&P 500 is up 25%. Quite a recovery for the S&P 500 this year. Let me remind everybody, doesn't compare to the 200% that XRP already did. Doesn't compare to the 170% that Bitcoin did. Okay? And I'm talking about from the lows of 2022 to the highs of 2023. XRP did 223%. Where it sits right now is still up, well over 100%. So no matter how you look at this thing, just keep that perspective. Don't worry about our XRP that, it's not going anywhere. No, it's up over 100% on the year. From the lows of 2022 to the highs of 2023, when we busted all of the exchanges and we got the historical ruling as the only digital asset in the United States with legal clarity, it was up 223%. So keep that perspective. Now let's take a look at the charts here. This is the daily sticks, and you can see here we got a new day. This is Friday right here. Today we were back down for Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin was back down to about 42,600. And we'll be watching where we go here This is going to be the last trading day for the stock market. Obviously, crypto is going to be going till the end of the year, 24/7, 365. Ethereum did have a massive pump, though, today up to 2,400. Nice little bump. And for XRP, we did get a bump up to 65.75. So almost 66 cents for XRP today. Nice little rally. And we've cooled back off to 63 cents. XLM cooling off after it went up to 13.5 cents, back down to 12.9, just under 13 cents. Algorand cooling off after a massive pump here for Algorand. You can see this thing. Massive rally here for Algorand to finish off the year. We love to see that. Yeah, up 187% since October 19th. Currently up 162%. Massive move there for Algorand. Same thing for Quant. This thing went stupid as well back here in October. All the way up. That's about 81% for Quant. Sitting down right now at $135 for your Quant. For Solana, back down to 105, and watch this one, folks. I have a feeling that this one's about to tank hard. But nonetheless, it did have a massive pump this year, basically from the lows of December 2022 to the high of this year. Basically a 12x or 1,200%, so pretty substantial. For the DXY, it's been getting beat up, back down to about $100 for the DXY, and this has led to a pump in silver and for gold. Silver was back down today, back down below $24 per ounce, and for gold showing strength here. We just had the highest daily close ever yesterday for gold, and then we have maintained here 2,069 for gold as we speak. For Nvidia, hanging out here at 495, kind of chopping sideways. Amazon, same thing. S&P, though, like we said, just 0.3% away from all-time high for S&P. For the Dow, it's back at all-time. And for the NASDAQ 100, it's back at all-time high. Actually, I wanted to check that. Yeah, because the high for the NASDAQ 100 was about 16,700 back in November of 21. Yeah, so we are back to all-time high for the NASDAQ 100 and for the Dow Jones, and we are very close here for the S&P 500. For the total cryptocurrency market cap, we are up 127% from the lows of last year. Pretty substantial to see there. Yep, about 130% there. Nice run up for cryptocurrencies this year. Total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Strength, we're at 500 billion. Okay. And then we were watching that Bitcoin dominance did fall off here a little bit lately, and I think that's been spurred by Solana and some of the other alts here kind of running up here lately. We'll be watching that one very closely. Now, XDC did do a massive little pump here yesterday. That was on yesterday's Wednesday candle. Massive pump up here to about 6 cents for XDC. And right now it's chilling at 5.5 cents. Jesus coin back down. For those who are wondering, Jesus coin back down. We'll watch it. They did the burn, and it played out exactly as I suspected. It pumped leading up into the Christmas burn, and then it dumped after. We'll continue to watch it. And I think that's all I had for that. Any other questions or comments? That's where we are at in the markets right now. Tyrus, I want to say thank you for your first super chat. That's a 5 spot. Much appreciated. XR Peaky Blinder with the 5 spot. Seed money to sell your crypto bros, haters, girlfriend, Zach Rector's limited edition lingerie. Peaky, I love it, brother. I love it. Limited edition. Hey, speaking of merch, guy, by the way, I do got, can you guys see that? Oh, you can kind of maybe. Got the XRP Army merch on right now as we speak. If you guys need some fresh merch, all of our community resources are at the website, zachrector.com. My man Ray pulling up with another 50 spot. You're a good man, brother. Keep up the great work. Ray, I really do appreciate that. That would be your 10th super chat on the live stream. It gives me a little notification, I guess, when it's your first super chat. I guess that's your 10th. Stuart, what are you up to now? You're up to like $100, brother. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. So much love, so much support from you guys, though. It makes it a joy to do all these live show presentations. You know, sometimes at the end of the day, I'm thinking about, oh, you know, maybe I'll just sit down, I'll go watch a Netflix, I'll go watch a movie. And I think, no, the people need me. We need to update. And as I said, this morning I was recovering from trying to keep up with the boys last night. That was a mistake. Shell, thank you so much, Shell. We got some more Aussie funny money coming in. Big 30 spot from Shell. Thank you so much. XRP surged to $2,500 possible as banker explains. Don't shoot the messenger. I love it. I love it. Shell, I asked EG Red Crypto straight up on that post. For those of you who don't know what Shell's talking about with XRP going to $2,500, and this is apparently from a banker. Let me take a sip of my tea. Before we talk about $2,500 XRP, let me take a sip of my tea. So EG Red Crypto shared a story about a friend that he had, and apparently this guy's a banker, and this banker was talking about the potential for XRP to go up to 2,500. And I asked EG Red Crypto straight up, I said, is this a true story? And he said, yes, it is. I don't know. I can't confirm it. I can't deny it. Is it crazy? Probably, but I like being a little bit crazy. I think being crazy is going to pay off pretty well for us because all the conspiracy theorists and all the crazy lunatic whack job attacks that we got against us, all those theories have turned out to now be right. And a lot of people have had to retract their statements. And now they want to attack us too. Oh, you should have warned us about those crazy conspiracy theories that we were talking about. It's like, well, we tried to. You deplatformed us. That's why I had to go start my Discord group on Patreon about 3 years ago when I first started making content. The reason why I created my Discord group was so that I could have a safe space to talk about all the craziness that was going down in 2020, 2021, when we were getting deplatformed for talking about all of this. The reason why I started on TikTok was because Twitter took me down in, it was basically January 6, 2021. On January 6, 2021, with everything that was going on, I was very upset. And what did I post on Twitter? I posted an American flag and a thumbs up emoji. It was the last tweet on my old account before it was permanently suspended. An American flag and a thumbs up emoji. Take them out. Take them out. And at the time, I was on Twitter back then, and I was only posting about crypto stuff. I wasn't posting about politics. I wasn't posting about conspiracies. I wasn't trying to do any of that. I was just on Twitter back then to be informed on the current events and to stay up to date on crypto. And all I ever posted about was XRP stuff. So that was kind of when I started in the XRP community, was just being a regular guy, just posting on Twitter, right? And then apparently an American flag and a thumbs up on January 6, 2021 was enough to take me out. And that's what spurred me. I said, okay, you guys want to play this way? That's fine. That was the motivation that I needed to go start posting content on social media, putting my face on screen, and actually talking about this. That's what inspired me to go start on TikTok in February of 2021. 1 month later, I set my plan. I laid it all in motion. Actually, the truth is that I had started back in 2020 preparing. But the final straw was when Twitter kicked me off. And I said, okay, that's enough. I started posting on TikTok. And the rest is history. But it's funny how everything that we were called crazy, lunatic, whack job conspiracy theorists for has now all played out. And now we're still getting blamed because we didn't warn those people enough about all of our concerns, about all of our crazy conspiracies. Like, well, if you wouldn't have deplatformed all of us, maybe you would have been able to know the truth. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you guys. Zach over Netflix any day. Shell, that's why we do it. I scour Netflix, Prime. By the way, talk about getting taken to town with all these subscriptions. And I about lose my mind because why are we still playing ads if we're buying the subscription? That's the whole reason. That's why I have YouTube Premium. Everybody always complains about all the ads on my shows. I'm like, well, a guy's got to make a living. By the way, I don't know what to do about the scam ad that's been playing. Did they play the scam ad? I don't know if they've been playing them here recently on my most recent videos. Let me know in the comments, guys. Have they been playing the scam ad still? Because I've still been seeing. I think even yesterday, I think I saw that they still were. I don't know what to do about it other than to just completely stop doing ads. But then obviously, I'm not going to be making any money. So that's the problem. And I have no control, right? So I know a lot of people have been like coming at me like, you need to do something. I'm like, I have. We all have in the all the other content creators that I know too. We've all sent messages into YouTube, no response. They're doing nothing. So I don't know what to do about that. Oh, I see Echo showed up. 10 spot from Echo. Much love, brother. You legend. We are in the history books. Let's go. Echo, absolutely, brother. Echo, I've been seeing you go viral on Twitter, too. Your TikToks have been getting shared on Twitter. You've been going viral, brother. Keep up the great work, man. It's a team effort, isn't it? I got to meet Echo in XRP Vegas as we were flying out. I forget, what was I in line for? Whataburger? Is that what it was? Me and wifey were picking up Whataburger. I was recovering that day too. We had a good time in XRP Vegas. Had to put some grease in the gut. A little bit of Whataburger or whatever it was. Got to meet Echo. Much love, brother. Yeah, they're still playing the ads. That's terrible. But as I was complaining about, I pay for YouTube Premium because I watch, well, I mostly listen to YouTube, but, I listen to so much YouTube. So I pay the $12 a month for the YouTube Premium and I love it. I think it's, some of the best $12 I spend every month because I don't have to watch ads. But I go to pay, I got HBO. What is it? Well, I guess it's called Max now. So I got Max, I got Prime. We got Netflix, and now Netflix is going to start throwing out ads too, coming in January. It's like, what do we pay for the subscription for, right? And give me an option. I think they are maybe on Netflix. They are actually, now that I think about it. Or is it Prime? It's Prime. Prime's going to start showing ads too, and they're going to give you the option to pay another $10 a month to not watch ads. I'm like, man, if you guys actually put anything on your platform that was worth watching, I would probably pay the $10 just to save my time. But you guys don't even put up anything that's worth watching. Every once in a while. And mostly I just watch the new movies for the predictive programming, right? I go back and I watch like classic sci-fi movies. I go back and I watch, some of these classics. And I watch these shows mostly for the predictive programming, mostly for the symbolism. What did I just watch? I just watched The Wolf of Wall Street once again. And boy, that scene, the SEC, and this scene has been shared around in the XRP community a lot, right? The one where the SEC is hounding them, the FBI's on him, the feds are on his firm, and they want him to step down. And he gives the speech in front of his company, and he says, "I'm not leaving," right? He starts with a whisper, "I'm not leaving. I'm not effing leaving, right? And then they all go crazy, right? And we all shared that in the XRP community. That got me so hyped again. I just, watching the movie there with wifey, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, it just gets me a little excited. The fight that we're in, guys. I mean, this is something to live for. A fight that is worth living for. So much bigger than just XRP. Oh, I want my XRP to pump to 589. No, I want to save our country. Speaking of that, there's a good, someone had shared it. I think Travis had shared it in our Discord group. The new Front Lines of World War II, the new documentary on Netflix. I get down with that. I've been watching that. That's a classic. And I like the history. That's some good stuff right there. But few and far between of the crap that they're throwing up there on Netflix and Prime, and now they're going to make you watch ads. Yeah. Unfortunate. I know, Brenda. I ended up buying The Big Short. That's the next thing that they're going to do. They're going to put ads on movies that you've already bought. I bought The Big Short because I was tired of renting it. I didn't want to keep on renting it. And so I bought The Big Short, and wifey, she won't let me watch it again. We've watched it too many times in the last 3 years. It's one of those. Margin Call, though, is another good one, though. I do like that one, yeah. Stuart, much love, brother, for the 20 spot. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, they're running all the scam ads. It's not just Brad Garlinghouse anymore, is it? Yeah. A lot of scams. Well, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this live show. It's been an absolute pleasure for me. Really looking forward to it. Tomorrow, we got some more content dropping. Like I said, I got a video coming out that's going to be about exposing the XRP PSYOP, all the different lies, all the different deception and misinformation that they've thrown at us to try to lead people astray and to make people lose their faith and conviction in XRP. And so I'm going to be dropping that video. We also have our weekly call in the Discord group that's coming up on Saturday. So if you want to join us in the Discord group, you got to sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. And through the end of this year, I'm running a special where if you sign up for a 1-year membership, you can save 13% on your membership fees. So it is a way to support the cause, and it also is a way to get tapped in with a community of like-minded individuals. And we're really proud of the value that we're bringing there, and we're excited on what we're going to take this thing to the next level here in 2024. And so looking forward to that. We already have 3 Discord meetups in person that are coming up here in 2024. So not only do we meet every week, not only am I available 24/7, well, not 24/7. I'm available every day in the Discord group, but we meet every week, and then we also are doing in real life, not in the metaverse, in-person meetups. We already got 3 planned for 2024. So join us in the family. It's at my website, zachrector.com, along with all of our other community resources, precious metals directly shipped to your house, roll over the 401k, crypto wallets, crypto exchanges, XRP merch. This is the XRP Army. We got a couple affiliates for XRP merch, so go check them out. And I will see you guys in the next one. On the way out, if you haven't already, please like the video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless all of you.